What's up guys, it's Cam coming at you from the 2 Sigs. Welcome back to Carolina Fragrance Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. As you guys well know, some of these tags have gotten a little creative since this whole COVID-19 thing. Tommy over at Studio Scents tagged me to scent my state, and I was also tagged by Georgia Fragrance Apprentice to scent some places I want to visit or fragrances I would wear. So that's a video that's coming up soon. Today we're going to be scenting my state, which is the good state of North Carolina, or the old North State. Some people think that we're still like real aristocrats around here, you know, big old white houses and all that stuff. No, it ain't like that. It's not like that, not around here anyway. It's just very hardworking people that just try to coexist and like each other and be friendly. So if you've ever heard of that Southern hospitality, especially in these parts here, we have a lot of hospitality, and for the most part, pretty harmonious. We're right next door to Fort Bragg here in Fayetteville, not North Carolina, but because of us having a military installation right here with people all over the world in here, there's all sorts of culture. I could probably do fragrances just on Fayetteville, but I'm going to stick to the state. So one thing that we are known for here in the South, and North Carolina especially, is sweet tea. And other than water, sweet tea is my favorite drink. So I have chosen to represent the tea is Oolong Cha from Moonshine. Now this is a Earl Grey tea fragrance that does have some top citrus notes of bergamot and orange, so it is a little bit sweet. Our tea that we drink generally gets to be rather sweet. Matter of fact, like the sweeter the better. Some people like to call it like instant diabetes in a cup or whatever, or a glass, or even a mason jar. But Oolong Cha is a very clean and fresh fragrance. So we like our sweet tea very fresh. We like it, you know, made fresh daily, especially, you know. But anyway, this is one of the best tea fragrances I have ever smelled, but it also has a very interesting note of fig in here. So I'll do a little comparison to my personal life over at the property where I was raised, where with my mom and dad, they had a lot of fig trees. I think there might be one remaining now. The last major hurricane that came through pretty much wiped those out. But I used to love to go out there and munch on those figs, and I mean seriously, I could just keep plucking them off the tree. There's all sorts of goodness over there, like grapes, which brings me to my next fragrance. Now, North Carolina is known for all sorts of different types of grapes and wineries. We have the Biltmore Estate in Asheville. We have Dublin Winery. We have a lot of different, Lou Mill. There's a lot of different wineries in North Carolina. And all the old people around here, like the people who are like in their 90s or above, there's like a 99.99999% chance that they have grapevines on their property. There has been, well, I don't know if it's like scientific proof, but around here, people believe in eating grapes and the nutrients that are in them that will help you. I don't know, let's just say it's kind of like a fountain of youth. So I was trying to think, I'm like, okay, what do I have with grapes? I do have a nice sample here from Gallagher Fragrances that my buddy Ashton let me get a whiff of. This is Eau Fraiche, and this also has another prominent note in here that would be North Carolina based, which is tobacco. So this has some black currant, it has some Concord grapes, which are very prevalent in this area. It also has orris butter, sandalwood, and ambergris. When I saw this fragrance on the website, I was like, I wonder how that would smell. So Ashton sent me some samples of some fragrances. This was in there. I was happy that it was in there. This is not a, you know, like a, I don't know what type of fragrance this is other than very unique, and I like it a lot. When I read the note breakdown, I was like, that might be good, and it would seem weird, but it smells really good, and it does smell like there's some fresh grapes in here, and tobacco just happens to be like, well, it was North Carolina's biggest cash crop for a long time, which will bring me to the next few fragrances. So I don't spend a whole lot of time on this. You guys know that I love tobacco fragrances. The majority of the really popular tobacco fragrances are gonna have what? They're gonna have tobacco, vanilla, cinnamon, or maybe a few other things like cherry or cacao or something. But this is just the best tobacco and vanilla fragrance with like a really authentic tobacco note. It is 1821 Man-Made Spirits. This is such a good tobacco fragrance. If you want to talk about like a real upscale, authentic tobacco fragrance, this is just about as good as it gets. So the note of tobacco in this is like a really dark and rich tobacco with that vanilla. It's just so good. And of course, I have to bring out another tobacco fragrance. Like I said, it was our biggest crop. So my next one would be Teddy Mugles Pure Havane or Havane. This is another, like, it's just a staple. If you're a tobacco lover or not, this is just a fragrance that is really hard not to like. This is one of the best of the Amen line. And of course, again, you're gonna have that tobacco. You've got some honey. You also have some vanilla, some cacao. This is just a must-have staple for sure if you want to smell good or rep North Carolina. Now, Fayetteville is located in the sand hills of North Carolina, so primarily the crops that would be around here would be like tobacco, cotton, corn, and then as we move just a little bit north up towards Johnston County was the absolute like capital for the moonshiners and bootleggers. So I figured I'd break out a nice boozy fragrance or two. And of course, you guys know about my affection for Bariona from Nazamato. This is as boozy as it gets. If you're thinking about like people running barrels of moonshine in the night through tobacco fields under the moonlight with their headlights turned off. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen that music video Bottoms Up from Brantley Gilbert. That pretty well defines. That looks like it was probably shot in North Carolina. I know that Brantley Gilbert is from Georgia, but we'll just, just for effect's sake, go watch the music video and then you'll kind of get a feel for what a night in the country is like out here in North Carolina, running that bootleg of moonshine. Now, of course, this is just a very boozy fragrance with a nice wood accord in here. That's pretty much it, but it is highly addictive and absolutely one of my favorite boozy fragrances. So since we're talking about tobacco, we're talking about booze, I figured I'd break a couple more out that have more notorious notes that just really work for fragrances, especially like in the fall and winter. You're talking about tobacco, vanilla, and rum or whiskey or any type of booze. And the first one I picked is Initio Parfums Privé. This one is Side Effect. This is such a good fragrance. High quality as it gets. If you want to talk about like a booze and tobacco and vanilla fragrance, that's primarily what I get from this fragrance, but it is done so well. And if you want to talk about another fragrance that has a very, as far as like when you look up the notes, it would be Jazz Club from Mason Martin Margiela. This is from the Replica line. Both of these fragrances with very similar note breakdowns, but very different scent profiles. Now that I have like the middle of the state pretty much taken care of, now you would talk about if we go like 45 minutes north. I thought about, like the state fair. I've talked to you guys about Hop Done from Parfums de Marley, which reminds me of the state fair. We probably won't be seeing that this year, but I wanted to, go a little bit around another fun fact about Raleigh, North Carolina and Raleigh, Durham area. It is known as the Silicone Valley of the East Coast. There's a lot of technology around there. Red Hat, if you have kids that play Fortnite or if you play Fortnite. Epic Games is from RTP or out of RTP. On both sides of the guts of North Carolina, we have the great mountains of North Carolina. We have the Blue Ridge Parkway. Lots of really cool places to go and stay. Beautiful motels. You got the Biltmore Estate, which also has Like I mentioned earlier, a big, nice winery. I have been up there before and stayed and sampled wine a little too long, but I had a good time. And something else that just really makes me think about like Maggie Valley, that type of area around Asheville, which is a great town, you know, as far as like food and bars just to hang out. If you're a foodie, if you like good indie beers and stuff like that, Asheville's perfect. So if you're looking a place to really, you know, get romantic, if you want to take your wife somewhere that'll blow her socks off, you just want to take a spontaneous trip, go to Maggie Valley, which is right there in the mountains. It is on the backside of a mountain. There's a creek that runs there through it, and stay at the Jonathan Creek Inn, where you can actually opt in for a room with a fireplace or a hot tub, or a fireplace and a hot tub. Which brings me to my next fragrance, By the Fireplace. Now, of course, we have lots of bonfires here. You know, that's just how we roll at night when we have parties. But if you're thinking about, you know, taking a nice trip to North Carolina, the mountains of North Carolina are absolutely beautiful. Try to get you a cabin or a room that has a fireplace, and By the Fireplace is the absolute perfect fragrance to replicate beautiful memories in the mountains, or in my case, a Cub Scouts camping trip. Now, something else the mountains of North Carolina are known for are its apples, and every year they have a really big festival where there's tons and tons and tons of apples picked. So the fragrance I picked for that is Parfums de Marly Habdun. Habdun is such a good fragrance. It has saffron, rose, apple, and caramel, which is, you know, I was talking about that for the state fair, but I figured it'd be best to save it for that trip to the mountains while you're picking apples, and then take, hey, go ahead and get your By the Fireplace, pick your apples that night, and then go by the fireplace. And last but not least, we gotta take you to the coastal towns. We have a lot of really nice coastal towns, and we are the only state that has Outer Banks. So the Outer Banks is where Cape Hatteras is at, and also Kitty Hawk, where the first flight, or the first official logged flight the Wright brothers took, was down there at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Around the Outer Banks and all sorts of beautiful areas around there, you've got, I mean, there's a really long coastline with great coastal towns. You've got Curry Beach, Carolina Beach, Wilmington, so many different places that are family friendly. I used to go to Myrtle Beach a lot. I still do, but it's kind of got run over to the point to where it's not so much family friendly as it used to be. We used to visit there a lot whenever I was a kid, and I still take my son. But if you want a quiet trip and you just want to get that salt air in without it being overrun by a lot of tourists, I would suggest come to North Carolina's coast. And I have a few fragrances that are really good representations of the coast, but the one that I think captures it the absolute best is Ciel Marine from Healy. This almost has like a salt air accord in here, and you get like a little bit of algae. If you guys have ever walked down a pier or underneath a pier where you see all the algae on the wood, this one actually has some of that wood notes in here with that algae and that salt, sea salt. It's a very marine fragrance. It does open up with some lemon that fleets rather quickly and just comes into a pure salty aquatic fragrance that just close your eyes and you can hear those waves crashing against the pier. And if you have not ever been to North Carolina's coast, go to Carolina Beach. If for nothing else, go to Britt's Donuts. If you go to the boardwalk, that is a must-have donut place. Get you a really cold glass of milk and a Britt's donut, and that will make you a true North Carolinian. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and since I was tagged by Tommy, I'm sorry it took a little while to get this out, but I'm going to go ahead and pass this tag along if, you know, somebody else wants to find it fun or talk about their state. Kenny, the Fragrance Shark. Now, I know you're from New York. If you want to talk about New York, or if you want to talk about the ATL where you now reside, let's go ahead and have it, brother. Get creative. I know you can do it. Next, I want to tag my buddy Dan over at Scented Waters. He lives down in Florida. And last but not least, I want to tag my buddy Mike over at 5280. And that is the Mile High City of Denver, Colorado. Now, I know Mike says he doesn't have any cannabis fragrances, but I'm sure you can come up with something, brother. So for the viewers here in the United States, let me know what state you reside and what fragrance or fragrances would best suit your state. And if you're from another country, let me know what country you're from or what province or whatever it is that you have, and let me know some information about where you live and how you would send it. Until next time, I'll see you on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.